حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة فجازاه الله عنا خير ما جاز نبيا عن أمته ورسولا عن دعوته. All praise is due to Allah, the compassionate and merciful. May Allah's praise and peace be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Almighty to send both His peace and peace upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We bear witness there is no deity worthy of worship but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we bear witness that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was sincere of the prophets. He had conveyed the message of Islam to the best of his ability and had shown us a straight path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here in front of our eyes. And I ask Allah Almighty to make us among those who follow the footsteps of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, and make us among those who drink from his hands on the day of judgment, and make us among those who reside with him in the highest level of paradise. وولي ذلك والقادر عليه اللهم آمين آمين آمين. يا أحباب رسول الله, I want to share with you just thoughts, not necessarily to wish a khutbah or a structured subject. Seeing what's taking place in the news and especially I come to a campus, so probably this conversation happens quite a bit, maybe in classrooms or among Muslim students and so on and so forth, specifically what's taking place in Syria and Iraq and the surrounding areas. So I have a couple of thoughts to share with you. One thing, Ya Ahbab Rasulullah, that it's important if we want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, many of us that we start saying, Wallahi, this brother is sincere, and he might look or dress in a certain way, so we think that he or she are doing the right thing. But to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with sincerity is not sufficient, it's not good enough. To be sincere is definitely, it's a qualification, it's an element, it's a point. But sincerity without ilm or understanding, without knowledge and understanding, it could be more damaging than helpful. It could be more damaging than helpful. And I'll try to give a couple of examples to you, inshallah ta'ala. But we should know that if we want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should, of course, all should be worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala properly, then al-fahm, proper understanding of approaching the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the way we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it should be there. I'll give you an example. Should I worship, my relationship with Allah Rabbil Alameen should be based on fear or love? we should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah tells us that we should fear Him. But I base my relationship with Allah, the core, the essence. Should I pray to Allah just because I fear Him, or because I want to show gratitude? I love Him. I want to thank Allah Rabbil Alameen. I want to praise Rabbil Alameen. I build the relationship based on love, not just based on fear. And no one's saying that fear is out of the equation, it should be there. But I have the understanding that if I sin, that I'll be distant from Rabbil Alameen, from the one I love the most, and I want to build that love relationship. You know, many of you go to school. You take an exam, math course, for example. There's a big difference between the one who's studying the fear to fail, and the one who enjoys the subject and goes and solves these problems and come out like, yeah, this problem was this problem was that. There's a big difference between someone just praying out of fear and someone praying out of love. Who's that person going to be more conscious in their salah? The one who's doing it because they love it, not just they fear the consequences of it. So we should worship. That first point that I would like to share with you is al-fahmu. Having proper understanding is crucial to worship Allah Rabbil Alameen, and that can't happen without having knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Surah Al-Hajj, verse 54, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وليعلم الذين, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this to us in Surah Al-Hajj, وليعلم الذين أوتوا العلم أنه الحق من ربك فيؤمنوا به فتخبت له قلوبهم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِيَعْلَمَ الَّذِينَ أُوتِ الْعِلْمَ. Those who given knowledge, they should know. They should have knowledge and understanding. Those who are given knowledge should know that the truth is from Allah Rabbil Alameen. فَيُؤْمِنُوا بِهِ فَتُخْبِتُ لَهُ قُلُوبُهُم. They believe in it, and their hearts will submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. You should know that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah Rabbil Alameen. So knowledge is the key to having proper understanding. To worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on basira. ليس فقط بصر. Not just seeing, but understanding and comprehending. That why I'm here and why do I exist and how I work, how I understand my religion and how I promote or tell people about my faith. That I worship Allah based on knowledge. If I ask this question, brothers and sisters, and please reflect on it. I've done this one seminar about Salah, where it's 4 parts, and one of them is specifically about wudu. I think here and there, it's maybe several years back, 6-7 years ago, I think I came into it once with that to say. And this question that I asked, out of the, I don't know how many tens, if not hundreds, many times that I've been to this seminar, several dozen people probably attended combined. I asked this question, I said, what's the difference between fara'id al-wudu wa sunan al-wudu? What's the difference between what's mandatory in wudu and what are the sunans? Out of the thousands of Muslims who attended, I believe every time I ask that question, a total of those who got it right, I think it's 5 people. And it's salah that we do every day. 5 people who knew the difference between what's fard and what's sunnah. And that can tell you that leads to a lot of confusion. If you make a wudu with your friend and the same wipe from the neck and you tell them, what's bid'ah? It's not bid'ah. It's bid'ah, it's not bid'ah, because you don't know. I don't even know the difference. You can't tell what's fard and what's sunnah. So al-ilm is the key to proper understanding. But knowledge enough is also not sufficient. Prophet Muhammad says, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yu'allimhu ad-din." Is that what he said? Yufaqihuhu. Prophet said, the one who Allah wants good for him or her, not teach them, but they make him understand the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They would know it, understand it. They understand the benefit, maqasid al-sharia, the benefits or the reasons and the objectives of the religion of Allah Rabbil Alameen. So having proper understanding is very crucial. You want to make da'wah to somebody, you understand, you try to convey a message. Listen to this conversation, Ya Prophet. As I said, I just want to share a few thoughts or messages with you. For those who can move forward, I see some brothers standing. So maybe you can leave room for them to show. Because one of the most challenging things right now, especially among the younger generation, this confusion that takes place. That we confuse sunnah with fard. We confuse priorities. We start fighting about things that are sunnah and we forget what's fard. Same masjid people invite, Eid is this day or this day. Right? But unity is fard. And they'll fight. Then should we do this and should we do that? Imam al-Banna rahimahullah, he went to a masjid and a group of people want to pray 8 rak'ahs and another want to pray 20 rak'ahs in Ramadan. And they start quarreling and fighting. Then Imam Banna said, close the masjid and go home, pray at home. He said, we're asking you to tell us which one opinion. He said, Tarawih is sunnah, but your unity brotherhood is fard. Therefore, pray at home is better for you. You will meet the fard and fulfill the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad instead of fighting and quarreling. Because that's what you want, the objective of what my ibadah is and my understanding of what I want to do. That's number one. Second message that I want to share with you. And the story of Sheikh Muhammad Sha'rawi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless his soul. Just so we understand, young brothers, we might get zealous or have this energy sometimes, but if it's not funneled in the proper channels, as I said in the beginning, it might fire back on us. He asked a group of people known to be takfiriyin, or they will call people kafir. It's easy right now. Just drive your beard and shorten your dress and just start quoting. Become a judge. You're kafir, you're this, you're going to hell, here's your ticket. Right? So he asked him, he said, if you find a group of young people partying in a club, fooling around, drinking, girls, guys, and so on and so forth, what would you do? And that young man said, I'll blow them up, kill them. They're kafirs, they're doing sins, major sins. Zina and so on and so forth. He said, but if they die, they're going to go to hell because they're doing haram. They're going to go to hellfire. He said, they deserve to go there. That's what they're doing. They're doing haram, so they deserve to go there. Saying it with, that's where they belong. So Sheikh al-Sha'rawi asked this young man and he said, so what does shaitan want to do? What's his goal, objective in life? He said, lead people to hellfire. So he told them, you and shaitan share the same goal. You and shaitan share the same objective. And then he gave him the example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When he saw there was a funeral of a Jewish man, I believe it was. And he became sad, upset, saddened. And the companions asked him, why are you sad, Ya Rasulullah? And he said, بِمَا مَعْنَاهُ هذه روح أفلتت. This is a soul that I was not able to convey the message to or convince and take it from hellfire to heaven. So he's sad about that. His goal, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is to take people from Jahannam to Jannah. He was sad in that he was not able to convince one human being that passed away and the train passed him. He was saddened by that. Because his objective, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is to take people from Jahannam wal-iyadu billah ila Jannat al-Firdaus. He understood that the first verse in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahi al-Jabbar al-Aziz al-Mutakabbir, Kalla, Bismillahi ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. The first word we utter is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. So he was saddened by that. So if you see this craziness that happens on YouTube or your Facebook or Instagram or CNN or Al Jazeera and so on and so forth, and you hear about young people traveling abroad and all what their goal is to behead one guy or two or three and shooting people in the streets and so on and so forth. If you see that, that is away from Islam, not that's what Islam is. And such people don't define me, and hopefully not you as well. They don't represent you or represent the true message of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But people might be sincere, but sincerity is not enough. You have to have knowledge and you have to have proper understanding. Al-Fahm. You understand the objectives, you understand Islam as a whole. You don't take one verse and you act on it without understanding when it was revealed and what instance and what the other verses say and so on and so forth. Al-Fahmu ya ahbab Rasulullah, it's important to understand how we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That we understand the objective of this deen. That you know what Shaykh al-Ghazali has a beautiful statement. A beautiful statement. نحن دعاء لسنا قضاء. We're not here to judge people, we're here to invite people. Don't pass judgment, just that's it. Oh, you're not praying? You should take it to Jahannam. نحن دعاء. We should be calling people, not the other way around. Not passing judgment on your brother because not wearing a kufi. You know, one time I believe it happened to me so many years back. I gave a khutbah without a kufi and the brother was upset. You know, certain parts of the wall, if you're not wearing it, oh, it's a bid'ah and so on and so forth. And the same day I went to Costco, the same brother with his wife. She's wearing it, she's sewing skin, and he's hugging her in the middle of the street, in the middle of the store. So I tell him, so you're worried about covering my hair, which is, I didn't do it. If you want to do it, it's okay. If you don't, it's okay. But you're not worried about haram fish, you're exposing your wife's flesh to others. It's confusion. It's not having proper understanding. Al-awlawiyat, the priorities are messed up. People are fighting, should I pray 8 or 20 rak'ahs of Taraweeh, and he's not making it for Salat al-Isha on time. Not making it for Salat al-Fajr on time. People shouting and yelling and screaming or going without knowing really what your faith is calling for. And what does it stand for? And what does it stand for? And I hope when you see such images and videos, you reject that. And this is not to exonerate. This is not to exonerate. ISIL or ISIS, and these are symptoms. Do we have Muslims with such bad behaviors and messed up thinking? We sure do. We sure do. There's no doubt about that. But this is not to exonerate not the symptom, the root cause. The symptoms we rejected, but the root cause of them. Those who would go and invade countries and steal their wealth. Those who we have no problem, and we should speak the truth to our government here. That when these guys approach Erbil, where they're all, 40, just 2 weeks before that, they kicked 40,000 Christians, Iraqi Christians, living in their homeland in Iraq. Peacefully, they've been there for many generations. We didn't move an inch. But when they got close to Erbil, where the oil refineries are, our players are going to bomb them out. Because that's points of interest. And we should not, brothers and sisters, and I hope that you understand, we should not differentiate killing an innocent soul, whether he's a journalist, a humanitarian worker, a police officer, whatever. It's no different if you kill him with a knife or with a drone. We stand for the truth wherever it might be. We don't accept it from our government or people who share the same religion as we do. But they're definitely misusing it and misguiding. If I want to worship Allah Rabbil Alameen, again, I worship Him based on proper knowledge. I worship Allah based on proper knowledge and proper understanding of that knowledge. I got to understand the objectives of my religion. You know, I understand that مقاصد الشريعة خمس. حفظ الدين وحفظ المال وحفظ العرض. That I understand that I should protect my faith, I should protect my wealth, I should protect my honor, I should protect my life. I understand these objectives of my faith. I know I'm here not to pass judgment on people. I'm here to invite people to what's good for them. And I'm here also to speak the truth no matter, you know, if it's against my brother or my mother. I will speak the truth. Or against my government, I'll speak the truth. Because we follow the message of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الذي اصطفى سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Dear brothers and sisters, you see the many difficulties Muslim countries are going through. In Yemen, fighting. In Syria, fighting. In Iraq, fighting. In Lebanon, fighting. Wherever you go, probably now in Egypt, people in prison and being persecuted and so on and so forth. Just, I know difficult to say, probably like, oh yeah, very tough times. But I'll tell you, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. With difficulty comes ease. With difficulty comes ease. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promising us that with difficulty comes ease. I'm asking you to be hopeful, to be optimistic. Because the harder it gets, and it might get even worse and harder, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is having a way out bi'idhnillah ta'ala. But you have to believe in Allah's mercy, in Allah's power. You have to commit yourself to the faith of Allah Rabbil Alameen. We just finished Eid al-Adha. Many people, subhanAllah, went and were able to perform al-Hajj, pilgrimage. And I hope that subhanAllah, and I hope that you also enjoyed that day. One of the things that we reflect on that day is we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what we have. Is, you know, when we say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd. You sit and reflect. You know, last week, one of the brothers, I finished the khutbah, and then he came and I thought he wanted me to make an announcement, said about Ebola, and then I said, well, ask the masjid people. And then afterwards I saw he was upset, and I saw his phone. I was like, sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you wanted to make an announcement. He wanted me to make an announcement. He said, I want you to tell, you know, because here all what we hear is the scare tactic. The scare tactic. Just so pharmaceuticals can make more money probably. But he told me that he came, I think from Sierra Leone or Guinea or something like that. He said, I wanted people to know here in this gathering, so I hope that reflect this on this reading. That my people are not able to sit in such gatherings and enjoy Salat al-Eid. Not because the government is oppressive. No. It's because of the widespread, the outbreak of Ebola. People don't want to even shake hands with one another. And the many people that have died, and he said, I want people to make dua for my people. And maybe because of the skin color, we're not talking much about what's happening there. We're not paying attention to it. As much as we know that we know difficulties are hundreds if not thousands dying every day in Syria and Iraq and so on and so forth. But there's other parts of this Muslim world that's also in pain. Some of these countries, 80% of which are Muslims. 80% of which. So part of this Eid celebration is we're thankful to Allah for what we have, the eyesight that I have, the food that I have, the college that I go to. And I feel with my Muslim brothers and sisters across the globe. I came actually here today, I know sometimes when I come only for fundraising. Because amongst us here in the community, people ask, we want to help the brothers and sisters in Kashmir after the floods that happened a few weeks back. That thousands of families were displaced. That means homes being washed out, some villages are flooded. That means they live in tents. You know, I went to Kashmir in 2006. I personally went to Pakistan and Minister of Kashmir after the earthquake. I saw there was about 3 million people were displaced. I saw orphans. I still remember Mushin and Sana, 9 and 13 years old, who lost both of their parents and both their siblings and their grandmother because the house collapsed in their hand. So after Salah Day, the brothers here, or some of the people who wanted to give it, said, no, why we allow the whole masjid to help these brothers and sisters out. So they can get a clean cup of water, one meal a day. I'm not talking about an iPad or an iPhone. I'm not talking about having fast-speed internet or instant gratification or watch this movie and pay 10, 12 bucks to go watch it. No. I'm talking about necessities, things that these brothers and sisters need. You just celebrated Eid, you just enjoyed that time. You know, many of you brothers and sisters are sleeping in tents. They don't have the means to do so. So I hope after Salah, inshallah, that we realize if I have an excess, not just have an excess, even if I don't have an excess, I can help these brothers and sisters out. I stand and say, Ya Rabbi, I'm from the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I can split what I have. Why? I'm not from Kashmir, I'm not from Palestine, I'm not from Syria, but I'm from the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I feel with them. Ya Rabbi, you made me witness Eid, thank you, Ya Allah. I want to help. I understand that my strength and when the Muslim Ummah of Rasulullah is strong, is well and happy with it. I ask Allah Rabbil Alameen to bless this community. I ask Allah Rabbil Alameen to cure the sick amongst us. And I ask Allah Rabbil Alameen to bless, to enable all the brothers and sisters who are going to college here to give them good grades بإذن اللهم يا منان يا رحمن يا رحيم يا رب العالمين اللهم بارك لنا في يومنا هذا يا رب العالمين اللهم استرنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض عليك يا رب العالمين اللهم أعنا على إعانة إخواننا في سوريا وفي فلسطين وفي أفغانستان وفي باكستان والهند وبورما وفي السنغال وفي جميع أنحاء الأرض يا رب العالمين اللهم يا من خفف عنهم يا رب العالمين اللهم وأعنا على إعانته اللهم وأعنا على إعانته اللهم وأعنا على إعانته واسترنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض عليك يا رب العالمين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وبارك على سيدنا محمد وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله